Hello everyone, welcome to part 5 of this video series, Foreigner in the Filipino Food Biz, involving the history of the Blue Carabao Eatery. So we're just cruising along after all these spectacular reviews and TripAdvisor. We even get a letter from a Chinese travel agency recommending us. So all things said and done, it's been very good. And the traffic count's about 2,200 people a day coming into the place. Now you may say, "Wow, you guys must have been making money hand over fist." Well, just don't forget the fact that the reason why we started the business called the Blue Carabao was to make jobs for people and to give them some good training, a different perspective on ways of doing things. So uh, our food was very affordable, some of the most affordable in the city, and we used nothing but the best ingredients. And our serving size was large. So out of those 2,200 people that come in, if you had 500, between 5 and 600 that were actually paying customers, you were doing good because there was a lot of sharing going on. And you have to remember we're in an area where there's lots of students. So when we first, that was a problem that I had because the students would come in and they'd bring their own lunch and just want the free soup juice that we used to give. And so they're in there taking up tables, and I got people standing outside. So slowly I had to weed all that out, not allowing anybody to bring any food. And that's a big problem in the restaurants here. In this style, Carinderia eatery, people for some reason feel that they can bring their own food in. I kid you not. They bring their own food into a restaurant. So now you got to deal with this and try to explain to them. You have to actually explain to them. Listen, I'm in the food business. How do I pay bills if you're bringing your own food in here and taking something that I offer free to customers who buy food in here? And they're all getting all upset. Go back home where you came from. Oh my God. But that weeds that kind of, that's not a customer. That you don't need that for customer. So slowly we're able to get rid of that while still maintaining our reputation as an affordable place to come and eat. So the deal was here: if you come in and if you come in and ordered food, you get a small a bowl of free the soup that maybe the meat soup. It was just a liquid, and you put that on your rice, and it added flavor to it. So you won't get that everywhere. You won't see that in McDonald's here. You won't see it in Jollibee. You don't get nothing free in these places. But in the Blue Carabao, it was actually free. And so along with that now, because of all these reviews and the reputation and the place getting modernized and a cleanliness standard coming in there, it was really drawing, like I said, a lot of people in there. And, and so along with that, that means we have to have stock now, a lot of stock. So where do you put it? So we were able to find a place across the street. Uh, it was expensive, but we had no choice in the matter. We had no place else to put it. So we turned it into a massive stock room, lots of shelving. I think there was 4 deep freezers in there. And so when Sherry and I went out shopping, we went out shopping. We had a pickup truck, and the back of that thing was just stuffed. So, and I believe we even got an award from Macro. Like I said before, that's something like a Costco as the one of their top customers. That's how much stuff we were buying coming out of there. So, like I said, we rented the space, turned it, but in the front there was kind of an area, concreted area, fairly flat, and we put maybe 8 tables out there. Some were kind of inside. I split the stock room in half. And why was it ever ended? It was just for overflow because there was so many people coming down there at nighttime. There was a lineup out on the street, and I'm standing at the other side of the road trying to figure what is going on here. And I felt bad because our neighbors who are also in the food industry, they had nobody. So I didn't like that, and sometimes I would go and try and just visit them and help them out. There was one lady. This was Helen, related to a Karen. But anyway, she couldn't get people coming in, so I went in there and I'd like to offer you some suggestions on how you can get people coming in there. And so she was very polite and listened. Yeah, I'll try that. And the next thing would happen was I get raided by the health department. Yes, she called the health department on us. That was a thank you. So shortly after that, our setup was the plaza was set up and the spaces were like so all alongside. And then there was a sidewalk in front of me. And so it was kind of nice because everybody could walk on the sidewalk and take a look at what each place had to offer. Well, she didn't like the fact that people would come from the other end and look into her place, and then keep going. She wanted them to stop and come in. In fact, she hired people to almost corral them into her place. So her solution was to put a wall on the sidewalk. Well, that ruined the whole place. Once she did that, everybody did it. So no more sidewalk. So everybody started putting their tables out there. So, you can only try and help somebody out. But when they're smiling at you and then they have a knife ready to jam it into your back, well, not much more to be said than that. So going back to this stock room across the street, like I said, we put tables out there. And I never thought I'd, get many people going over there. But it was crazy. So here you come. Now it's almost like a cafeteria style, like what we got here. You got your tray runner. So here these people come in, they order their food. All right, it's a serving on a plate. You got a big pan of food, and we give you a serving out of that. And we hand that plate to you, put it on your tray, and you keep on going down the row. You go to the cashier, and then you go sit down. Well, here these people come. They're doing all this, and then they're walking across the street with these full trays of food over to the stockroom that's got chairs in it. I couldn't believe it. Simply amazing. Like, I never seen that anywhere. And I've never seen that anywhere else in Davao. So it was really something else. But we felt that the place was really getting away from us. In a business, you have to keep a tight hold of the reins. Well, the problem was everything that I did to make the place run more efficient, it worked against me because it just brought more people down. The more we were able to handle, that much more came down there. And the lineup, the street was plugged. You could hardly drive. There was that many people. I kid you not. It was just crazy. So, and along with that, the bills get higher. We have 4 spaces that we rent. That's 24,000. And then we have this other place across the street that was 15,000. So you're looking just for rent. It was and our townhouse. So altogether, that's like 50,000 pesos for that. That's like 1,700 Canadian. And then your staff. We have 30 staff to be able to look after all these people. We got 2 cooks going full out, 2 cashiers, and all. It takes a lot to be able to keep these numbers up. So our staff was the wage was like 5,000 a month. So you're talking you're talking a lot of money now, and it was getting to a point where we were getting to be a slave to this place. There was no life for Sherry and I with our kids. So what we tried to do was hire a manager. So, which is not, was difficult in itself to try and find anybody that would be able to tackle that. Well, lo and behold, it was this guy who applied, and he had experience with a major fast food chain in the Philippines, which is now expanded into Canada and the United States. So, oh, finally, we get to have a little bit of time for ourselves, time with our kids, and he can bring some experience from this fast food place and to try and help us to solve some issues that we had. So I go there one day after about 2 weeks of this guy working for us, and I go into the main part of the eatery business. I said, where's the manager at? Oh, he's across the street, sir, in the stockroom. So I go over there and I don't see him in the front, and I go in the side, and, well, here he is. He's got 3 or 4 kids in there, and here he is playing air guitar. So he caught some air as I booted his ass out of the business. He liked air so much, he got good air time. I couldn't believe it. And this guy, we were paying him very well too. So we're coming up close to the end of our 5-year lease agreement. And with my experience with the landlady so far, and her not being a person of her word, I kind of felt that I better cover a base and find another location, because I think she was going to put it to me in a big way. And so off we go. We go down. I'm driving all over the place as we're buying the supplies. I look for a place, and we found a place very close to the ocean, close to the dive shops. Now, where we were before was all students and close to a mall. There's lots of schools and stuff. So now we're going to a different clientele. We're in the business section where this place was at. All banks, places selling vegetables and rice and all these supplies for restaurants and houses and businesses. So it's a business section. We've gone to basically from an education center, location down to a business supply location. It's a business section of town. So totally different clientele. So we started doing this about 6 months ahead time, and then I think it was about 2 months before we actually we were running this place together. We had 2 locations going for about 2 months, and that was hectic because now you have more stock and you're running back and forth. So yeah, that was another big challenge. But so on our next video, on video number 6, we'll talk about the developments, what the end of our location on Obrero Street, close to Victoria Plaza in Davao City, and we'll talk more on our new location down on Monteverde Street, very close to Santa Ana Wharf and Magsaysay Park. So there's more interesting stories to come. You won't believe what's coming down, what's going to come out of the landlady's mouth. And it really is a lesson for anybody who starts a business in a rented location. You really take a chance, because everything that you invest into making that a good location, it can be gone really quick by a landlord who's very greedy and decides to kick you out and start a business because you've already done all the work. You've got the clientele coming in there. And I don't know if it's the same back where I come from, because I didn't get into the restaurant business until I came here in the Philippines. So I can't say, but I'm pretty sure it is. People are people no matter where you go, and greed is greed. So I hope you'll all keep on tuning in, and I hope you find it interesting. I keep on chuckling about it. Like I said, you got to have a sense of humor and all this stuff. So listen, you folks, all be good to one another out there. Have consideration for one another. And the finish line's almost up there. We've almost got this vaccine coming out now. It'll be probably in the Philippines, probably the third quarter of the year, next year before it comes out. So let's just keep it up for a little while. It's not a life sentence. It's only for a short period of time, and then we'll see what's on the other side of that. Take care, folks.